Welcome to Audit Archive, where we run you through some of the most questionable and rather atrocious police encounters. Today, we're looking at a case where a police officer got on a severe power trip and made up a bunch of laws in order to falsely arrest an innocent man. The officer later admitted to doing this so the man wouldn't be able to file a complaint against him. On April 19, 2023, Officer Scott Harrell, a 4-year veteran of the Texas City Police Department, was parked nearby a gas station when he allegedly noticed a vehicle speeding and cutting parking spaces to get in line for gas. In quick response to this, Officer Harrell drove up to the vehicle and initiated a traffic stop. He then made contact with Christopher Scholl, the driver of the vehicle, who was already outside preparing to fill up some gas. Mr. Scholl approached Officer Harrell's patrol vehicle to inquire about what the matter was, and Officer Harrell informed him about what was allegedly witnessed.
Hey, before I'm stepping out of traffic here, buddy. Don't walk up to my car, please.
What?
Don't walk up to my car, please. Hey, man, you can't drive through the parking lot like that. You got your driver's license insurance? Any weapons in the car I need to worry about?
Oh, man.
Ford, did you catch my traffic?
Yes, sir. Have you on traffic here, buddy?
Robert John Lincoln, 4732, Robert John Lincoln, 4732, copy 27.
Sorry.
1441 6588 1441 6588. Is there any particular reason why you felt you needed to come through the parking lot like that?
I didn't think I did anything wrong. I just came over to get gas.
You were speeding and you cut through parking spaces. You know you can't do that.
It's just to be confirmed on Robert.
I didn't think I was doing anything, man.
I mean, you
all
walked
I'm doing
around.
is coming to get gas.
Yeah. Oh, are we gonna go back and forth, or are you just gonna?
You asked me a question. You want me to answer it or not? I'm not.
Okay.
If anything, I thought I was going even slower than normal.
No, sir.
Because normally people don't even park where you park, and that's the direct path to the gas pumps.
Through the parking spaces is the direct.
I do realize that. I know that there's parking spaces there.
And you almost hit that car that was turning right there. I was watching, man. As soon as you
almost
cut
hit
in front of me
anybody.
like that, I was like looking and I watched it happen. So
I come here every day. There's almost never, ever, ever anybody. You were sitting there this morning. Now, last week for about 3 days, someone was parking there. But if I come here 365 days a year, which I do, there's someone sitting there maybe 10 times. So there's never, ever a car there. So yeah, I go through there because it's the straight path from the entryway to here, which is what you're going to see everybody else do it. But I mean, you know, I hear you, man. I got it. To you, it looked like I was going fast. To me, I thought I was going even slower than normal because I didn't want to get too close to you.
Mr. Scholl appeared to be very compliant and immediately obeyed Officer Harrell's orders. However, Mr. Scholl made sure to clarify that he certainly wasn't speeding or driving in a dangerous manner, contrary to what Officer Harrell accused him of. It's to be noted that Mr. Scholl did appear frustrated, which made sense because he was defending himself from Officer Harrell's apparently false accusations. After handing over his license and proof of insurance, which were stored on his mobile phone, Mr. Scholl watched as Officer Harrell jotted down the information and then returned to his patrol vehicle to run it through the system. Mr. Scholl proceeded to fill up his vehicle with gas in the meantime.
go ahead. Thank you. Okay, sit tight for 1 second. You can fill up your car. Go ahead and fill up your car for me.
Everything returned clean under Mr. Scholl's name, and Officer Harrell then stepped back out to have a word with Mr. Scholl. This is where the situation began to escalate. Officer Harrell told Mr. Scholl that he didn't appreciate the attitude he received during their initial exchange, adding that he would cite Mr. Scholl for the violation of disregarding a traffic control device, but simply didn't have the paper tickets now, so he was willing to give Mr. Scholl a break and leave him with a verbal warning. As you will see, Mr. Scholl found this situation rather hysterical.
So,
I'm not kidding to you either, man. I come here every day, dude.
look, I'm not.
I send pictures of my wife the price of the gas here every
Right.
day when I come through.
Okay, look.
So, anyway.
Here's the deal, man. Okay, I'm not gonna go back and forth and all that. I'm not gonna write you tickets, but the only reason I'm not writing you tickets is because I'm out of tickets right now. Okay, otherwise you would be receiving a citation.
For what? Would
Okay.
be the citation? I'm just curious.
Disregarding traffic control device.
On private property?
Yes.
Okay.
You still can't do that. It's still illegal.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm not gonna write you a ticket.
Officer Harrell then stated that all Mr. Scholl had to do was simply apologize for his mistake and admit that he messed up. However, since Mr. Scholl appeared certain that he was not in the wrong, it made perfect sense for him to be agitated by the officer. It also goes without saying that a subject showing attitude does not give officers the liberty to treat them more harshly.
I hear you, man. I understand.
I don't appreciate the attitude. Two, I get it. You're upset. Nobody likes cops pulling up on them. Nobody likes it. Okay, but you know you did wrong. You know you're not supposed to cut through the parking lot. And instead of being like, "Oh yeah, I messed up. Sorry, it won't happen again," you want to sit here and go back and forth with me, right?
One very important thing to note here is that the traffic stop was essentially invalid now, and Mr. Scholl was well within his right to hop in his vehicle and leave. This is because Officer Harrell had already given Mr. Scholl the warning, and any further discourse between either party was not within a lawful detainment. Then, to make matters worse, Officer Harrell suddenly began threatening Mr. Scholl by asking him if he'd like to be arrested and taken to jail for his traffic violation.
There's a lot better things than this to be doing for you, man.
You're right. I was working on a report.
You can be over here, and there's people right now running 90 miles an hour on the thing.
You want to go to jail?
So
you want to go to jail? You could go to jail for this.
you can do what you want to do. I can't stop.
I don't want to take you to jail.
You know?
That is definitely a waste of my time. Okay, but the attitude is not necessary.
I agree.
That's on your part, sir. I haven't been rude to you at all.
This is an appropriate time to discuss whether Mr. Scholl was lawfully subject to any traffic violation in this incident. As we know, this traffic stop was initiated on private property. Another detail to note is that the alleged violation that Mr. Scholl was accused of also occurred on private property. Taking these two factors into account, it could very well be said that Mr. Scholl was unlawfully detained by Officer Harrell. This is because, under the law of Texas, it stated that you can only be issued a traffic citation for an infraction committed in public as a general rule. Traffic laws do not apply to parking lots, driveways, or alleys. Therefore, if you drive in any of these places and are pulled over by the police, they may not issue you a citation. But there are exceptions to this rule. The exceptions referred to here do not apply to this encounter. Therefore, judging by this, it becomes clear that Officer Harrell was abusing his authority as law enforcement. After this, Mr. Scholl was actively trying to de-escalate the situation and end the interaction between him and Officer Harrell. Despite this, Officer Harrell then went on to accuse Mr. Scholl of a different crime, claiming that he could arrest Mr. Scholl for Class A reckless driving, which was just another made-up infraction against Mr. Scholl.
That's fine.
I have a camera on. I can't be rude to you.
Okay. All right.
I will get in trouble. You go file a complaint. Based on my behavior, they will decide whether or not to get me in trouble. Write me up.
I'm not worried about that. We're good, man.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll make sure that I'm there all the time. If I see it happen again, then we'll go from there. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
I'll look that law up on private property too. I don't believe you'd have the authority to do anything here on this parking lot like that.
I could also take you to jail for Class B reckless driving. Or Class A reckless driving. Because you did almost hit that car.
I didn't almost hit anybody. I was nowhere near. There's cameras everywhere. You can do what you want to do, Harold. I can't stop you. If you want to be this way, then that's up to you. I'm trying to be a reasonable person.
Are you having a bad day, sir? Is there a reason why you're acting like
I'm having a bad day because you're
doing
this to me.
Have I raised my voice to you at all, sir? You're the only one who's getting upset.
I'm upset because I think this is ridiculous. I think this whole thing is ridiculous. I think it's ridiculous.
What do you think is ridiculous?
That we're even talking about nothing happened. And here we are talking, and you're threatening to take me to jail.
No,
and so I shouldn't be getting upset?
I don't call it a threat, sir.
No, it's a threat. That is a threat. You're threatening me under color of law now to take something on private property, which I don't believe You even have the authority to
is
do
a
it. Now
dictionary
you're wondering.
term, sir.
Okay.
It comes from Black Law's
No, it's not. It's a Class A
dictionary.
misdemeanor for you to threaten to arrest me over something that you know is not really true. But that's
What-
okay.
What's the penal code on that, sir?
Then, as if Officer Harrell wasn't already in a bad spot, he made it even more evident that he had malicious intentions. After Mr. Scholl clearly said that everything was all good at that point, implying that they could finally head on their separate ways now, Officer Harrell intentionally decided to escalate the situation. He claimed that he felt as if Mr. Scholl would continue to commit similar crimes in the future and put others in danger. And this apparently gave Officer Harrell the right to place Mr. Scholl in handcuffs and arrest him.
Trust me. That's okay.
Trust
It's okay.
you.
Okay.
I
We're good.
trust you.
We're good.
I don't feel like we are. I feel like this is this is a problem.
How is it a problem?
I
How
feel
is
like
this
you're
a
going to
problem?
continue to commit these behaviors that are unsafe and put people at risk.
So
You
now
don't
we're
feel
gonna
like
have
you
to
did
pick
anything
for
wrong.
something that's possible they may do in the future. So now we're playing Jean-Claude Van Damme future cop, and you need to stop me from something I may do in the future. That's now your position. You're feeling like you should take action because maybe sometime in the future I might possibly continue to do something. Come on.
What is the
Again.
law designed to do, sir?
Oh, I know you want
designed to
compliance.
stop people from
I know
doing
you
things
want
that they're not
voluntary
supposed to be
compliance.
doing.
I know you want voluntary compliance.
Okay, go ahead and put your hands on the back.
Wow.
1717 Lakeside Drive, female. One is going to be tall with a gray shirt and a white undershirt with camel pants, black hat. The other male is going to be a little bit shorter with a black shirt, black loose fitting pants. Just kicked in the front door.
We'll do this a different way then.
I have
this
an
way.
injury on my left arm.
Well, I mean, I don't. Would you like 2 sets of handcuffs?
No, my head hurts.
Okay, we can do
There's a
2
big
sets of
scar right
handcuffs.
there, guy.
I know, we can do 2 sets of handcuffs.
Cannot believe you're doing this.
Well, sir, I'm concerned that you're going to continue to do this unsafe behavior. So,
I'm familiar
I've seen-
with the residence. There's no water.
you want 2 sets of handcuffs?
This hurts, man. It hurts.
I can do 2 sets of handcuffs. You
I
want to do 2
cannot
sets of-
believe that you're doing this, dude.
Well, I mean, it didn't have to go this way.
No, it never did. None of this ever needed to happen. I don't believe.
Okay, well, I disagree with you. Sir.
Okay, I know.
What would you like me to do with your car? You want to call somebody or do I tow it?
Do we really need to do this, Harold?
I mean, I didn't think we did.
I didn't think we did either, sir. Man.
Okay, but I mean, you wanted to sit here and argue with me about what I observed with my own eyes. Okay, I'll go get a copy of the video.
I didn't think we were close, Harold, at all. I didn't
Not
think
me.
I was close
You
to
didn't hit
anyone. No,
almost
you're
me.
talking
You
about the
hit
white
another
truck.
vehicle. Yes, you even know what truck I was talking about.
Yeah.
Okay, so
What? I didn't think we were close, sir. I really didn't.
no, you were very close. They had to slam on their brakes. I watched it happen. Okay, you came flying through the parking lot. Okay. So what are we gonna do about the car?
I didn't think I was going that far.
You certainly were, sir. You definitely were. Okay? You definitely were. Okay, so what are we gonna do with the car? I don't want to tow it because that'd be being a real and I'm trying not to be. Okay, what would you like me to do with the car, sir?
Officer Harrell continued to speak with Mr. Scholl while he remained in the back of the patrol vehicle. Amidst this, Officer Harrell unbelievably admitted to doing all of this just so Mr. Scholl wouldn't go down to the department and file a complaint against him.
Can we back this down, dude? Can we cool off here, please? I'm
It's-
sorry.
you-
I
you-
will.
You have forced my hand at this
I
point.
will.
Because if I don't go and
I
see
will.
this through to its conclusion, I know you're going to go to the police department and file a complaint on me.
I'm not
Now, the
gonna do
complaint's
that,
not
sir.
going to do anything because I have it all on video. Everything is recorded. I don't talk to anyone in the public unless I have my camera on. Okay?
I'm not gonna go
So-
complain.
This once again proved that Officer Harrell unlawfully dealt with Mr. Scholl while on a power trip. He was now trying to save himself by arresting Mr. Scholl and finding reasons to justify it. Later, Mr. Scholl called up his wife and informed her about the arrest. During their conversation, He asked her to come pick the car up, while also adding that she would have to handle work for the day. This showed that Mr. Schull was simply on his way to work that morning, but was now arrested and financially hindered just because an officer couldn't contain his ego.
Just a little upset because I really, honestly...
Sir, I watched it happen. I was working on a report. I definitely have better things to do.
I didn't think that I did anything, Harold. I didn't think I did anything.
Well,
and
a
it was
lot
very
of people
frustrating.
don't think that. But I explained it to you, and then you wanted to argue with me.
I didn't think I did anything, Harold. I
know I look young. This is not my first day on the job, sir. I promise.
It's nothing to do with any of that. I didn't think I did anything.
You almost hit that white truck.
I agree with you that that's what you think. Then there's nothing I can do to change your point of view.
It's going to be on the cameras. I'm going to get copies of it.
I didn't think I did anything. It was frustrating for me to try to explain to you that I didn't think that I did anything and you're not hearing me.
I hear you, sir. I disagree with you. So what do we want to do with the truck? Or with the car?
I'll have to call my wife, I guess.
Okay, well, let's call her. Where's your phone?
Can you loosen this one, please?
We can.
Hey, I need you to come over here and get somebody to come pick up my car over here at Bucky's in Texas City. The Texas City officer over here at the restaurant.
Can you repeat the first name?
I know.
Scott.
So my car is going to be, you'll find it over here on the end.
North Adam, public sound.
So, yeah, I guess so. And then I'll
speak to her. We'll take your phone. I'll give her a call if you want me to.
I don't know what else. I need you to, you're going to have to cover work.
421
Okay. All right. Hey, I'm going to leave this phone in the car so that you can get calls. Okay? And then I don't know how we're going to handle that. So, I'll get my other phone.
Hey, we might have one in custody. Can get a unit over here to watch the car.
Another officer then showed up to the scene, and Officer Harrell subsequently explained the entire situation to him. Except, it was recounted in favor of himself, and portrayed Mr. Schull as the aggressor. However, we've already seen how Officer Harrell was the one who initiated the arguments again and again, while Mr. Schull simply wanted to head on his way to work.
Still checking in.
He came, so I was sitting right there, and he came through the parking lot and cut through all the spaces. And he came through so fast and whooped into here, and there was a white truck. The white truck had to slam on its brakes. So I come over here. I was just gonna be like, hey man, chill out. Like, chill out, don't be like that. But he wanted to go back and forth and argue with me and give me all kinds of stuff. And like, I didn't have any tickets and I didn't grab a rider this morning. So I was like, man, look, it didn't have to go this way. He kept going back and forth, so I was like, all right, let's go.
Then, all of a sudden, Officer Harrell started to get off his outrageous power trip and realized what he had done. While searching for Mr. Schull's secondary mobile phone inside the vehicle, he asked the second officer whether he had paper tickets with him. Then, when the second officer confirmed that he did indeed have them, Officer Harrell walked back up to his patrol vehicle and told Mr. Schull that he was going to handle the situation differently, stating that he was going to cite Mr. Schull and let him go.
I don't know this guy at all. I don't know anything about him. But he kept wanting to go back and forth and argue, and I was like, if I had a ticket book, I'd have just written him a ticket. You have a rider?
I got paper tickets.
You got paper tickets? That's what I'd rather do.
Okay. Yeah.
That's what I'd rather do. Okay, we're gonna do this a different way. So the other officer has a ticket book he's gonna let me use. You're gonna be receiving the citation, okay? And because I think going to jail is a bit excessive, but well, I agree with you. But I didn't have another option. I don't have another ticket book, and I don't have a ticket writer with me. So we're gonna do it that way, okay? Step out for me. Take your steps off.
God almighty.
Take your time.
Tighten up. Oh my God.
they're
Dude,
coming.
listen to that. It presses that scar, man, it hurts. Or a motorcycle.
Turn this way. Corey Scholl's no longer in custody. Okay, I see you sign right here. It's not admission of guilt.
Repeat your last?
Mr. Scholl is no longer in custody. It's not an admission of guilt. It's just a promise to contact the court on or before the date and time that's written on here. You can contact the court at the bottom here. The information's there and also up there. Free to go, sir.
Mr. Scholl was ultimately cited for disregarding traffic control devices. On May 24, 2023, more than a month after the incident occurred and 9 days after it was made public by Mr. Scholl, Texas City Police Chief Joe Stanton announced that Officer Harrell had been placed on inside administrative duty and is now under investigation by the Internal Affairs Department. The department's Facebook page has been receiving increasing pressure regarding this matter. Meanwhile, it was stated that the Internal Affairs investigation could potentially result in criminal charges. Chief Stanton also added that the Texas City Police Department has strict policies prohibiting officers from violating individuals' rights with whom the officers encounter, and that this citizen encounter is still under investigation, and this written statement is based on the details we know at this point. We are committed to being transparent with our community, and it's our intention to release the results of the investigation as soon as a final disposition has been reached. Meanwhile, Mr. Scholl, who said he is pro-police, called the stop unjustified and a violation of his rights. He stated that they need to go back and look at this guy's body cam footage from 6 months, a year. It wouldn't surprise me that he's been operating this way for a very long time. As of the most recent update at the time of this recording, Mr. Scholl has told local media outlet KPRC2 that when he went to the court last week for the disregarding a traffic control device ticket, he was offered deferred adjudication if he paid $300. He instead asked for the case to be taken to trial. He is also considering civil action against the department. Mr. Scholl has since set up a GoFundMe campaign to fund the legal fees that come with filing the lawsuit in order to hold the officer and his department accountable. Be sure to check out our previous video where we cover another outrageous police encounter